Good afternoon. I'm President Pastor Michelle Thomas. I am the president of the NAACP Loudoun branch, and we're here today for a press conference regarding racial profiling of Loudoun County Sheriff's Office deputies, of one of our members of the NAACP, and also an active member of our church, Holy and Whole Life Changing Ministries. It is none other than Brother Akeem Smith, a father of two young boys, as you can see here, an awesome husband, a servant in the community. He's affiliated with the Loudoun Masons, and he's affiliated with many of the community groups that will speak out against injustice. Yesterday, he found himself in an unfortunate situation where the Loudoun County Sheriffs told us just 2 days prior that there were no incidents of racial profiling in Loudoun County, where the Board of Supervisors told us just 2 days ago, Tony Buffeting and also Caleb Kirshner assured us that there was no systemic racism involved in the Loudoun County Sheriff's Office. They also said that there were no videos that would show racial profiling in Loudoun County Sheriff's Office. And I come to say foul. We cry foul this morning because there is evidence. There's the evidence that was taken on just yesterday. The evidence of a gentleman coming home from a day's work, a hard day's work, being accused and assailed by 5 police officers under the auspices of a broken tail light. It is very confusing to me because only 2 short months ago, I was engaged in a Zoom conversation, a town hall, if you will, with Sheriff Chapman and Chief Brown, talking about accountability, asking and demanding a citizens review board to ensure that transparency is upheld and that no discrimination is taking place as they go about their policing duties. At that time, we asked for many things. We asked about statistics of incarcerated people in jail. We asked about the numbers of people that they were arresting during the COVID-19 time, knowing that African Americans are disproportionately affected by COVID-19. We also segue into a conversation that I'll never forget. And this is when the sheriff told me personally, you can go back on our Zoom meeting and look on my Facebook page, Sheriff Chapman talked about the way that they were decreasing their COVID-19 numbers in the sheriff's office. One of the ways is he talked about the frivolous arrest or the arrest of non-violent offenders. He said that those numbers would be down, that they would send summoning to deal with offenders versus arresting them on the spot like that. It created an opportunity for the transmittal of COVID-19. Sheriff Chapman also talked about some of the things that they were going to do in terms of trafficking. He talked about the extension of safety inspections, that they would no longer be stopping cars for safety inspections and those types of frivolous expired license tags. And so he would make sure that all safety and all stops, traffic violations, would be more serious in nature. So I was very surprised when my member called, Brother Akeem called and said I was stopped for a brake light. I didn't understand it. Why? Because I had been assured that as a part of COVID-19 protective measures, that safety issues, things that you can get fixed later, that you may not be able to have an opportunity to fix because the COVID-19 time, that those were not justifiable stops at this time. The most egregious is that not only did they stop Akeem, they called in before his car was stopped. They called in the help of 5 additional deputies. Let me just insert a joke that's not funny. How many Loudoun County Sheriff's officers does it take to give a citation for a brake light of a black man? The answer would be 5.
And a dog.
And a canine dog. And a canine dog. I want to leave space now to hear directly from Akeem as he recount the stories from yesterday, and then we're going to get into some questions and answers and give our list of demands. We demand justice. We demand accountability. There's no way There's no way, and this tape is proof positive, there's no way that the sheriff and the deputies can skirt the fact that we need justice. On yesterday, one of the most egregious things that happened, not just that 5 officers pulled him over, it was the fact that the body cams in Loudoun County are manual, which means the officers use their discretion to turn the cameras on and start recording. The first question I have for Sheriff Chapman is, where is the video, sir? Where is the video for the body cams? Where's the video for your car dash cams? Where are the sound that would accompany what it is that your sheriff deputies did to our fine citizen? Let's hear from our King Smith.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Kim Smith. Let me walk you through a day as I'm driving up Route 7. I'm just driving up Route 7, you know, coming from taking care of some business out in Maryland. As I get to around Ashburn Road, I see an unmarked car on the median.
Can you raise the microphone?
Sure.
That's just going to the camera. Go ahead.
I see an unmarked car on the median. I drove past the unmarked car, then I proceeded to move over into the middle lane. Probably about 2 minutes later, I look up in my rear view mirror. There's a Loudoun County police cruiser right on my tail. So now I know I'm about to ready to get stopped. They proceed to turn on their lights. I pull over, and 5 Loudoun County Sheriff's Departments, 3 unmarked, 1 K9, and 1 police cruiser converged on me as I moved over to the side. One officer, Deputy Nichols, came to my window, asked me to roll my window down, and told me that I had a brake light out. I said, okay, I can go and get that fixed right now. He asked me for my license and registration. I said, okay. I went to reach for the glove compartment to give him my registration. He told me to stop, don't reach for anything, get out the car. I complied with that order, even though this is a traffic stop. I got out the car. So I asked, could I get my phone to video this? They said no, their dash cam is on. I said, but you're walking me behind the cruiser. Do you have dash cams behind the cruiser as well? They asked me, could they search my car? I said no. They asked me, could they search me? I said no. They said they're still going to search me anyway for their protection because he's seen a bulge on me. A bulge in my pocket, as you will see now, was my wallet. And I let him know that was my wallet. He still searched me. And so once he searched me, you know, now the canines bring the dog out and is going around my car. So I'm asking the question, is this a traffic stop? What is this? What's going on? Why is the canine going around my dog? They tell me, oh, they could do this. I said, y'all have 5 cars for a traffic stop? I've been stopped in Loudoun County before. This never happened to me in my 16 years of living in Loudoun County. So they proceed to put the dog around my car. No, then they kept going back to an unmarked vehicle that was in the back. I never knew who was back there, who they were talking to. And they came back and told me to put my hands behind my back. And I said, for what? They said, I'm being detained for a drug investigation. I said, what is it, a traffic stop or a drug investigation? They said, well, the dog got a hit. I said, I've looked at that dog. No, I'm not a trained professional on canines, but I didn't see that dog bark, scratch, point. Nowhere. So they put the handcuffs on me, told me to sit in the car. I told them I'm an asthmatic. I'd rather be standing outside. So they let me stand outside the police car, detained on 7, while they tearing my car apart. And I'm asking them, I said, could y'all please put it back the way I found it? And they told me, no, the car was like that already. So I'm telling them, no, it wasn't. So they finished doing their search, found nothing. So they unhandcuffed me and told me to sit in my car. That's when I proceeded to go and get my phone and started recording. because I asked for their names and I knew I wasn't going to get their names. So I had to record to get documentation for myself. So they're sending it, writing me a warning citation. It was a little scary because I'm just trying to get home to my family. You know, it was a little scary feeling. I'm just wondering, why do y'all need 5 police cars for a traffic stop? Why? Is it a traffic stop or is it a drug investigation? Were y'all following me before this? Or were y'all waiting for me to come to Loudoun County? I don't know. I'm just asking the question. So they, you know, me and the officer is saying, well, he's citing some Supreme Court law. You know, I'm letting him know this is Virginia. You know, he's citing some Chicago law with the Supreme Court. But I'm telling him this is Virginia, and I'm asking him, I'm still trying to find out why. Why is it 5 police cars for a traffic stop? And then y'all find nothing. And then y'all just proceed to drive off after, and y'all left with my property. What if I got stopped again driving home? So I had to make a few phone calls. You know, they directed me to the Loudoun Sheriff's Department, and then I proceeded to tell them, do not come to my home. I don't feel safe for y'all coming to my home. I will pick up my belongings at the Loudoun County Sheriff's Department, right here where we're at, 803 Sickland Road. 5 minutes later, a police is banging on my door. I open the door. I'm still irate, so I just snatched my belongings and I closed the door. So as I'm actually sitting outside talking to a few friends, trying to calm down, I don't know if I seen a few Loudoun County Sheriff's Department on a hill taking pictures. I don't know if they was taking pictures of me or they was doing actually some type of work on a vehicle up there. I don't know, but I seen Loudoun County Sheriff's Department with a phone pointing towards my way. You know, it was just a scary feeling because I'm just trying to get home to my family. You know, you have people, you know, on social media talking about I'm irate. Like, I'm livid because I'm a law-abiding citizen. I'm a law-abiding citizen. I pay taxes. You know, I serve in the community. You know, I'm not saying my whole life I was a saint, but it's, you know, it was just a little terrifying. And so I actually made a formal complaint here yesterday with the Internal Affairs, and they contacted me this morning by text and let me know that he'll be the one doing the investigation. So I will wait for the findings on the investigation, because I'm still wondering, did you have your cams on, your dash cams? Did you have your body cams on? Because I didn't see any lights on. You know, I'm just looking for accountability, and I want to make sure this don't happen to no person, white, black, whatever ethnical group you are. You know, this should not be happening in these times. This should not be happening. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
You've got your
Question,
back.
sir. Just during the stop, did any officer ever once say you're not who we thought you were, or mistaken identity?
No, they did not. No, they did not. They didn't tell me if it was mistaken identity or anything.
And what do you think what do you think the dog picked up? Just some random...
I don't know. Is animals 100% correct? You know, are animals more accurate than human beings? I don't know.
Did they pick up anything at all?
Yeah.
No.
And that's the question. In the way that this investigation was going, it didn't appear that the canine dog had to pick up anything. Just like if they called the canine and they called the other 5 cops before they could even stop Brother Arkham. So you can't say you smell smoke on them, which is the common excuse for proceeding with K9. You can't say that you saw smoke coming out the window. So what it is that would provide some sort of excuse for you to get in and rip this man's car apart outside of racial profiling and racism, outside of a cultural bias, where you look at a black man and decide you must smoke weed, and you look at a black man that says you must be up to trouble. And the only trouble that our Kim has ever been in, and as I've known him as his pastor, is the trouble that John Lewis describes. It's called good trouble. As a matter of fact, we're all here in alliance, in agreement, in allyship with each other, saying that we're here for good trouble. So when it comes to demanding transparency of sheriffs, it's not personal. It's not personal, Mike Chapman. I love you, and you know that. I love Ann, and you know that. I respect your kids, and you know that. But it's time for good trouble in Loudoun County. It's not personal. It's not personal. It's time. It's not personal. And so we push back from the rhetoric that didn't have these experiences. Unfortunately, our Kim is not the only one. In the last 24 hours, the NAACP has received numerous reports of black men and black women being stopped and being over-policed during their stops. When you go to the courthouse, you can always see a disproportionality between black folks who are charged and the number of convictions and white folks who are charged and the number of convictions. My question is, we want to see the data side by side, because people lie, data don't. So we want to see the data. How many cops does it take to pull over a white citizen with a bad brake light?
One. Or none.
No.
Yes.
Akeem, could you spell and say your first and last name?
So my full name is Kaheem Arkim Smith.
Can you spell it?
My first name is Kaheem. My middle name is Arkim, Arkim. Last name Smith, Smith.
Thank you.
You mentioned that police tore apart your car when they were looking. Can you describe that?
So they tore out my back seat. My back seat is like, you can see the actual steel in the back seat right now. You can see the steel beams that the back seat goes over. They ripped off my back rubber on my trunk. The top of my trunk, they ripped through there.
The lining.
The lining, both of the linings, top and bottom linings, they tore apart, and they just left it there. You know, and they went through my armrest, just took everything out of my armrest and threw it in the seat, and just left it. You know, they went through my, they even went through my flashlight, opened it up, see if there was any drugs in there, try to open up the battery of the flashlight. You know, there's nothing there. I have mulch in there because I'm actually trying to grow my own garden at home. So I have a bag of mulch. They looking at the mulch, seeing if there's anything hidden in there. It's nothing. It's a brand new bag of mulch. You know, maybe that's what the dog smelled.
And these are your two sons?
Yes, these are my two sons, and this is my wife.
Were they wearing gloves and masks?
I couldn't even reach for my mask because I was too scared when he told me don't reach for the glove compartment. So I just got out the car, and they were not wearing masks.
So you have 5 cars full of cops with no PPE. That's dangerous for them. Remember, mask is to protect others, right? And so whatever they are exposed to, if it's 5 cops to one incident, they're obviously overexposed. We're demanding that the sheriff's office would pay for these damages to Arkim's car immediately. Come and pick it up. You tore it out, come and pick it up. Fix it back. You will not get away with this. This is not how you treat citizens. And you found absolutely nothing. So there's no justifiable reason. And it shouldn't cost him a thing to get racially profiled and harassed. We are not in the business for paying for that.
You mentioned on the phone you're asthmatic. Did you think that put you at a high risk?
Yes, that does put me at a higher risk. But you know, I've been quarantined. I'm a very private person. You know, this is my family that's out here right now. You know,
the NAACP will be formed for specific information, dash cam video of body cams, and transmittal of radio communications. It is very, very important that we identify when it is that the officer called for backup, because if he called for backup before he left the median or before the stop actually happened, there's no point of having backup for a brake light. And we understand without any more investigation that there is a measure of cultural bias. Ron?
Can you stand behind the mic, sir?
All right. My name is, Ron Campbell. I'm a member of Loudoun County, Leesburg Town Council, member of Loudoun County NAACP, also executive director of the Loudoun Freedom Center. There's two things I want to say today. One is that we will not tolerate any longer a culture of threats, lies, and intimidation against this black community, against this black family, against any family in Loudoun County. We will continue to stand up, call out, make known, and demand that there is full transparency and accountability. We will no longer tolerate not knowing what gets done to these officers. If there's an internal investigation, we want an external report. It's not enough that they just failed to respond appropriately and maybe even put this young man's life at risk. For what? For a brake light out and a false claim about drugs in the car? That requires him to be handcuffed? If he had acted in any other manner, we would be here today grieving rather than calling this out. And that's the value and importance of moments like this. For this sheriff's department to understand its accountability is not at the ballot box. It's to the people right here, right now, right today. We cannot wait for the next election. 4 years from now for justice to be served and the culture of this sheriff's department to be turned around. And if you watch one of those videotapes, there's one officer standing, his bald head, in front of the camera to threaten and intimidate by his very presence. If all of his business had been concluded, his job was to simply get in his car and go away. He had another purpose of standing there while this was being videotaped, and that's what we need to call out. The purpose and the culture of that threat and that intimidation that we live with every day in this community. So we thank those in our community for being here today, but no more.
You do have all the camera access?
We do not. We're going to be forwarding it. I'm sure that the sheriff will not willingly give it over. We'll ask him. Sheriff Chapman is on vacation. I actually went in to see if we could get the footage. He is not there. So I'm sure that we're probably going to have to escalate and get the FOIA request going. I'm hoping that we can do it without it.
What shot was Ron referring to then on when you saw the officer standing? Where did you see that?
His brother Smith's
Arkim's video
that he took.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Right, it was Arkim's video. Remember, Arkim was denied the opportunity to video the first half of this incident. Only when they didn't find anything. Only when it is that they knew that they would have to leave without any type of trafficking or arrest did they allow him to film the ending of this altercation. The intimidation factor is real. It's ever present. The fact that they took his wallet was a power play. When you know that you have a person's identification, you have his money, you have his credit cards, you have all that he needs to not only identify himself, but be able to make any type of business transactions, you have that. Not only that, you have his ID, and so you know his address. In other words, if it is that you want to launch some type of intimidation campaign where the sheriff's department drove by his house routinely and began to sort of harass his wife, his kids, all that is in play because you have his ID and you're fully set up to get that going. This is not acceptable in Loudoun County. We won't accept that. In other words, we're standing here, all of us together, black, white, people of faith, people of no faith, Muslim, Hindu, Sikh. We stand here together that says we will not tolerate hate and discrimination in this town. It got to be stamped out. The Citizens Review Board must be adopted. I would hope that Sheriff Chapman would use this as an opportunity to realize that there are, even when you're doing a good job, you still must be accountable so that your good goes to great. And so on the other day, on yesterday, Sheriff Chapman was not doing a great job, and all the training and the accreditation that they bolster from Loudoun County Sheriff's Office fell to the ground. Your accreditation means nothing if you do not operate under your accreditation. And on yesterday, they did not operate under the accreditation of community policing. This was anti-community policing, or it showed that RCAM and those that look like RCAM are not a part of what they call the community.
Yeah.
Right.
We're having a problem, and we got to get real. We have to be honest with ourselves. It's not, you know, you got bad people everywhere. And so I will never say to you that all cops are bad. I know one of the sheriffs that stopped him, actually two of them, Ramirez and Nichols. It pains me because I know these guys in different spaces. But what they did on yesterday, they have to give an account for it.
That's right.
Just like what we do on today. We have to give an account for it. And whether you say you like it or not, God is watching and he will not fail us. Thank you so much for coming out today. Well, the struggle continues. We're not going away. We ain't going away. Going away.